this storm will subside, and I hope after the storm we shall all learn lessons and hopefully behave better, do things better to build our country, create stability, tranquility, so that we can bring investment and jobs into the Ugandan economy. Honorable Zake and Honorable Kyagulanyi, as everybody perhaps now knows, were part of the Arua fracas of 13th of this month, about 3 weeks ago almost, where the presidential convoy was intercepted, obstructed, disrupted, stoned, windscreen smashed. Consequent to that, the SFC, which guards the president and the police, conducted arrests, in which they arrested a number of people, including the 2 MPs you have mentioned.
Yes.
Honorable Zake happened to be among those arrested, taken to police custody, and he said immediately he was unwell. And police took him to a nearby clinic to get first aid.
But I think
and he took that opportunity to connive with others still at large to escape from lawful police custody. Subsequent to that, police traced him into Kampala, in Rubaga Hospital. Police made several attempts to interview him. He didn't cooperate. Hospital administration did not cooperate. And yesterday, he tried to sneak out of Uganda, purportedly to go for medical treatment. That wouldn't be an issue, but he has been a suspect, a wanted suspect, only the one who had escaped from police custody. So the first reason for his arrest yesterday was because he has been a wanted suspect. Secondly, since he says he is sick, and more so that he sustained this sickness and through torture at the hands of the police and the army, it is necessary for the police to subject him to government medical examination to get the reports. Right. Once that is done, and the police find that he is fit to start trial, they will be able to arraign him before the courts of Uganda. So that is for Honorable Francis Zake. He was arrested, one, because he was a suspect on the run, to enable police to take him to court, but also before that, subject him to medical examination. Secondly, since he claims that he was tortured by the police and the army, it is necessary for this inquiry to be investigated thoroughly and perpetrators brought to book. Police can only do so if they have a competent medical report from competent medical professionals of the government. The second one of Honorable Kyagulanyi.
Yes, who was granted bail.
His case is slightly different. Yes, he was granted bail, but granting bail, you need to read if the bail condition says he can travel anywhere. Yes, he has his passport, like you have your passport. You may obtain a visa, but if you don't have air ticket, you want to travel. You may have air ticket and a visa, but if you don't have yellow fever card, the airline and the immigration will not allow you to go past their checkpoint. And so, Honorable Kyagulanyi's lawyers should have gone back to court and said, our client needs to travel beyond Uganda. We want that authority. So,
I would like to know, just to chip in,
yeah.
Were these particular citations put within his bail form that you are not allowed to go out of the country?
That one is completely answered by him and his lawyers.
Yes.
I am talking about the government immigration policy. Merely having bail does not entitle you, a suspect, to leave Uganda, because the jurisdiction of the High Court of Uganda is only limited to the boundaries of Uganda. If a suspect leaves Uganda without the authority of court and doesn't return, who will be liable? Can court compel somebody who's in Kenya to come? Can court compel somebody who's in Hong Kong to come? No. So the police is duty bound to say no. From our reading of your document, you don't satisfy the condition of immigration, even if you say you have bail. And therefore, that's a matter that his lawyers can go and address with the court and say, look, our client was proceeding to travel abroad and has been stopped. We are now asking specifically that you grant him permission to travel beyond the boundaries of Uganda.
Mr. Fonopondo, You spoke about granting bail to these people and the fact that they had to pass through procedures to be able to get out. And I think we've understood that. But now I'm particular about the image of the government and how it's been handling a number of cases around the country. Can we say that the government right now is panicking?
No. First of all, this government is very firm. What we should never accept to do is indiscipline among political leaders. The government, the state must be firm. When the state should be fair, it should be firm, especially dealing with indiscipline among elected political leaders who think that they can use election or any other excuse to cause commotion. Yes, you may think about the immediate image of the country, that we are getting bad publicity. Uganda has had bad publicity before. We had Idi Amin. We had Joseph Kony.
The famous dictator.
Yes, we had the LRA, we had Joseph Kony and LRA, we had cattle rustling, we had the 12 being massacred in the Windi. We must bring an end, consciously or mechanically, to indiscipline among political players. That's what will give Uganda durable, sustainable, good, positive image, not only in Uganda, but beyond the boundaries of Uganda in the international community. We should not worry about the immediate fallout if it will bring for us durable stability, durable tranquility, and positive image.
Mr. Pono, the positive image is a very, very credit-worthy point. Especially when it is past the journalists. You know, is that something that, how are we going to be able to move from here to somewhere that we can now say the police has a very good positive image? Because it's not been looking good at how people have been handled.
Well, first of all, the police should the people should respect the police, and the police should respect the people, and therefore it is regrettable any instance of high-handedness, mistreatment, brutality, especially before the public eye, before the camera. I have not seen the police or the army dragging people from their homes and beating them in their compounds. The police and the army has beaten people, yes, only the streets, not innocent people. People have lit bonfires, lit tires. Most likely they have lit those tires using petrol.
Let's drive it away a bit from the people that beat. Let's take it to the journalists.
Listen.
Yes.
Those people, anybody is allowed, everyone is allowed to demonstrate peacefully, to petition the government. No one is allowed to use violence. The moment you come on the public way and lit fire, using kerosene, using petrol, using other destructive objects, you become a target for lawful use of force against you. Secondly, about the journalists, it is regrettable. And the UPDF, the police has made this very clear. It is regrettable that we saw the incidents in Arua where TV journalists were arrested, undressed. I saw one without a shirt. Perhaps the shirt. No.
Yes.
I want to start with Arua.
Okay.
Don't concentrate on Kampala. There are many journalists who are suffering in the rural areas silently because they are away from the eyes of the camera. So it's very unfortunate that journalists who went to cover an election like those ones were treated that way. It is very regrettable. The army, the police should make a thorough investigation, transparent, and punish those soldiers and police officers. Secondly, the case of Kampala, where a journalist kneels down, raises his hand and his camera, that in UPDF today we still have a soldier who cannot recognize that is a camera, it is not a weapon. It is very, very unfortunate. The UPDF must absolve itself from this horrendous offense, which offends common sense, because there is no soldier who can claim that Akena's camera wasn't a camera, it was a weapon. And then the one of this morning, where a journalist again, a NBS journalist was beaten, and camera was taken away from him. There should never be a reason why a journalist should be assaulted, why their equipment should be destroyed, there are known administrative ways if we have grievances, if government officials have grievances against journalists in the field. Look at the camera, look at the jacket they are putting on, go to the news station, go to the media station, and file a formal complaint if the journalist infringed on any regulations in the field. However, all is not lost. We have met with the media fraternity together with the police and the army, and we are working on a joint operational code of conduct, which we hope will eliminate this wanton abuse of authority by security officials.
Something else, maybe just to close up, as our closing remarks, I would like to know what I like the fact that first and foremost the president is steady. He's not making any drastic decisions, and I appreciate that so much. I would like to know what do you make of the president's reaction to what's happening?
Well, first of all, the president has come to your platform in the media. I think, first of all, the buck stops. The buck stops with him. Yeah. Even when a private, a soldier, a policeman makes the mistake on the street, the buck stops with the commander in chief. It stops with the president who is elected, and therefore it is good that the president constantly, regularly writes in the media. He has even made a step further, engaging social media, which is occupied by particularly the young, educated elite. It is good that the president takes on engagement there. He receives insult, and he engages in a more civilized way. We hope all leaders should pick the shoe from the president, that even when you are so angry, simply pick a pen and write to the editor of UBC, or ask to be hosted on a show like this and put your viewpoint without throwing punches, without throwing stones, without throwing machetes. This is the way we should be going. Yes, because there are too many platforms today for civil, peaceful engagement.
Yes, and of course our religious book, the Bible, calls for us to follow and respect our leaders, right?
Well, that's true, but the leaders must bring honor onto themselves first. Okay. If you're an MP and you're the one mobilizing hooligans, you are the ones throwing stones, you are the ones suspected to be doing things because you are intoxicated with substance and so on, then you need to check your leader. Pause for a moment. In that house, there are 450 members of parliament or more. Why these two? Why these five? And perpetually in conflict. Not in parliament, because they do this thing in parliament. What did they do that was outside the camera at Pacific Hotel in Arua? If they could break microphone stands in parliament, in the glare of international media, what did they do in those hotel rooms where there was darkness?
Unfortunately, Mr. Fonopondo, we're running out of time. But I would love you to give your closing remarks to the country, to the people. Give them an assurance that they need to know that things are going to get better, because right now the public image of the country is not so good. And you as a spokesperson for the government of Uganda are one way or another held liable for the image of what's happening in Uganda. So would you kindly give the country...
Well, in order to make omelette, you have to break an egg. This is the bad pangs for a new, better Uganda. As I said, when the storm subsides, I hope we would have each learned good lessons to take Uganda forward into tranquility, so that our country goes back or joins the rest of the civilized international community. In those international community that you admire, you don't see MPs on the streets fighting. That's the reason. The reason members of parliament enjoy immunity in parliament is that they can make the strongest criticism on the basis of that immunity, and nobody, not even the law, will reach them, because they make those strong criticism in the honest belief that they are building a better country.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fonopondo. You heard the man himself. In order to make an omelette, you must break an egg. My name is Mark Arnold Badulo. Thank you for joining us here on the Lunchtime News. Stay tuned for more news in our subsequent bulletins. Good afternoon.